Hey guys, my name is Nick B, and let's jump into this week's futures overview. So before we do that, let me just point out what we have ahead of the week fundamentally. We have Tuesday at 10 a.m. EST, ISM PMI. We got to keep an eye on that. Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment change at 8:15. Maybe might see some swings with that. Thursday, we have unemployment claims, ISM PMI as well. Friday, we have NFP and unemployment rate. I mean, this is really NFP right here. So that's just something to keep in mind. So around morning time, we might see some activity. Again, I'm not one of those traders that goes based off of fundamentals. I don't really care for fundamentals to an extent. I like to see the reaction and then I get in based on the direction that price picks out. So with that in mind, let's jump into it. Let's identify the levels we've pretty much been chopping in between since the last 2 weeks. Really, we've been trying to break out, but it's been kind of slow. Let me go ahead and clear the chart and we'll start fresh. Clear drawing set. Yep. Perfect. Okay, as always, we're starting with. Is this the 3-year daily? No. Let's actually start with the daily. No, 2-year daily. Okay, that's better. 2-year daily. I don't need to go on the 3-week on the 3-year weekly. We don't need to do that. So right away, let's focus on the now. What points stand out to me, and let's go ahead and plot them. First things first, we're gonna plot the all-time highs at 16,767, and I'm gonna start picking off previous lower highs basically. So right here is one point right here, and that's gonna be at 15,265. Okay. Anything below here, we're not really going to focus on. We want to focus on what's going on in the now. So we've identified this. This level right here stands out to me. Let me see. It wasn't a previous all-time high, but I guess it counts as a higher low over here, which is at basically your 16,000 level. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it there just for now. I find it interesting that we kind of rejected this area here with a bearish engulfing, and then it's still kind of suppressing us here. So slowly but surely, we've identified the floor that we're in between, and that's 15,265, basically to the all-time highs of 16,767. Now it's our job to kind of dig in between. So okay, we've identified that we're really sitting between 15,265 and 16,000. So our next confidence that a confident direction that we'll take on is basically above 16,000. We can be looking to target the previous all-time highs of 16,450, and then above 16,450, I mean, what are the chances we can tap 16,767? It's possible. It's possible. Again, we'll have to wait and see if we can get above 16,000 for that. Again, below 15,265, we could take a look at the intraday supports, which were these previous higher lows of 1550 and 14,850. And then, of course, if we break below that, my point of interest is going to be the previous lower highs of 13,725 or 13,750 it was. I guess we'll plot that for now. So let's break it down to the 4 hour now. We've got that on the daily on NQ. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. Okay, so I like the confidence that we got with today's open on Sunday. We got a little bit of a push above 15.9. If we can get above and close above 15.9 on the hourly, there's a really good chance that we can continue up towards 16K, get above that, and we should be on our way. I think my first target is going to be 16,450. Monday, again, nothing's really going on. Tuesday is when the fundamental fireworks start. So we have a little bit of time to let that develop. Other than that, that's it on NQ. I mean, if we break below, let's see, if we break below 15.5, really, that's been our barrier for the last week. If we get below 15.5, it's safe to assume that we may be seeing 15.265. But again, I don't want to try to time the swings really in between here. It looks nice, it looks promising, but you don't have that certainty here. You need to wait for that hourly breakdown, retest and continuation, or breakout, retest and continuation. Or, if you really feel confident to swing it with momentum, go for it, but not my cup of tea. Last week that we've tried it, closing up July's performance into August, Last week we tried it. I mean, we kind of got screwed trying to time the swings. We went in on a long at 15,850 basically, and you see this candle right here. That took us out, basically stopped us right out for at 15.7 was our 100-point stop loss, 145 I think. So we're looking for a get back, and I think the safe and clean route is above 16K at the moment, towards 16,450. And then if you want to short, really the confidence to short is really below 15,265. I mean, you're going to be probably testing these higher lows. I don't think that's plausible, just because if you take a look at us, even on the 4 hour, we're constantly making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, blah 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 blah. Right? So why go against the trend? Number one rule to keep in mind is the trend is your friend. So I don't want to stray from that. And that's really it with NQ. See, we don't even have to really break it down to the 1 hour. We could, just to take a look, but it's not going to tell us really nothing we don't know or haven't identified yet on the 5 minute. So kind of looks like a double top, maybe, maybe. Yeah, just I gotta say 16K really is that confidence. 15.9, if you get in on a break of 15.9, just keep in mind it's very possible you secure 100 points to the upside and more, but you're gonna be trying to play with momentum. Again, it's doable, you could do it, just not really my cup of tea. The last few times, especially last week, that we've tried to play on momentum, we just gotten burned. So it just reinforces that fact. Also, for the month of July, we we amassed a total of 1,042 points traded. We gave back 541 points, leaving us with a total gain of 501 points for the month of July. We traded four tickers. It was CL, which is crude, YM, the Dow Jones, NQ, and ES. CL, we had zero losses, no points lost on CL. We gained 265 points gain. YM, same thing, zero losses, 205 points gain. NQ, we had 485 points loss, 500 points gain, leaving us with 5 points plus. ES, we had 56 points loss and a gain of 72 points. So we could definitely do a little bit better with NQ and ES, and we'll see what we get into August rolling forward. Let's take a look at ES now. So we're done with NQ. Let's take a look. All right, same thing. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on the 2-year daily. Let me go ahead and clear it. So there we go. Okay, and same thing. I want to focus on the now. So let's go ahead and plot out the all-time highs, which is at 4808. I do want to point out this previous higher low right here at 4630. That's a point of interest. Notice last time we got as high as, I think it was 4634 session highs, but never closing above it, rejected back down. And we're holding supports of 4554, 4550 really is that support. Um, Let me go ahead and plot off this previous higher low as well, just as a point of reference. If we start to break down, I have an idea of where we're going to be heading. 43.25, 43.27. Okay, so now that we have this identified on the daily, we can start breaking it down to get a closer look. Before I do that, this is a previous all-time high at 45.50. It just confirms the support that we're seeing right now, right here, and it'll become a little bit clearer once I start breaking it down to the smaller time frames. This right here is a previous all-time high of 4,700. So right away, I've kind of determined that if we get above 4631, I really don't see much stopping us from going straight to 4700. I would imagine that's a magnet. It's a round number. I would say it's a psychological SNR, and it definitely helps that it was a previous all-time high. Definitely helps. But again, that's only if we get above 4630. We can go ahead and do that. Now, let's break it down to the 4 hour. Right away, I do want to point out this right here. This was our support 4550. Let me see if I could clean that up. 4550. Yeah, that's fine. That works. Right by the 100-day EMA on the 4 hour. Perfect, perfect. So if we do break down 4550, really it's quite possible we're coming down straight to 4500 as the first target. Then below 4500, we can focus on the previous lower highs, or fuck, I get confused, but higher lows of 4411 and then 43.70 to the downside. Again, I don't think that's plausible, as we just seen with NQ, the constant higher lows that we've been climbing, the constant higher highs that we've been making. Same thing going on over here. I mean, we'd have to see really 4,500 get taken out, and then we can start considering, making our way down. And even then, you can't consider it a short unless you get below 43.70. And again, you're probably targeting that pivot level of 43.27. So really the short is below 43.25. You could feel comfortable shorting. Otherwise, if you're trying to short anywhere up here or in between, at least my thought process tells me that the chance of you getting bought up, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it here. So again, broke it down to the 4 hour, and it just solidifies the channel for us that we are in between 45.50 and 46.30, that pivot level. If we can get a close on the hourly above the previous session highs of 46.34, or really 46.30, really for me, if we could get that hourly close above, retest, and then go long, targeting 4,700, that's a clean play to the upside. And that's really all I'm eyeing on ES and NQ for now. Should we take a look at YM? It's not one of my names to look at often, but the last few trades, they've been pretty wonderful to the upside. So I guess let's take a look at YM. Okay. And see, on ES, we didn't even need to break it down to the hourly. Actually, before I move on, I don't want to confuse anyone, but just just for the satisfaction to break it down to that 1 hour. There we go. There we go. Again, just nothing really to pinpoint from here. It's either or. My favorite game, either to the upside or to the downside, or vice versa. Potato, potato. We'll see. Okay, so let's pull up YM now. Last but not least, let's put it up on the 2-year daily. Let's go ahead and clear the drawing set. Let me see real quick, because it's a bit slow. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with 3-year weekly, just to look at this point right here and this point right here, these previous all-time highs. The higher lows of 45,409 now. YM, as you can clearly see, is not one of my go-to names, so I just need a moment to plot out what points of interest I'm eyeing. So let's start with the all-time highs right here. I'm going to leave this alone. I don't want to dirty up my chart, and I'm going to leave this alone as well. Again, I don't want to dirty up the chart, but I am going to go ahead and plot this one right here. The reason I chose to plot it on this wick more so than this one up here is really because you have a connection here, here, and the last time, the most recent breakout we've had was just above the level of 35,250. And that was our breakout. That's one of our trades I think that we broke out of, and we were targeting 35.5, which we hit. So let's see what we get downside wise. Yeah, this is a lower high of 34.23. Excuse me, 34. Whoa. 34 to 36. Again, there's no point in plotting it. We're just between 35,250 and 36,832. Let me break it down now to the 2-year daily. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's a little bit cleaner. All-time highs are 35,550. I don't want to plot that. This is probably our next breakout level right here. And the reason I say that is because this was a previous lower high at 35,735. Fair. I like that. Just because we touched up here, rejected a few times, created this little channel here, and now that we're sitting in between it, we know that below 35,250, we're probably going to get taken back down towards 34,700 area, which we have, resistance right over here, over here, over here, and we didn't even reach it. So I'm content with these plots here. I'm going to leave it as is. Let's break it down to the 4-hour. Before we do that, again, I just want to clarify 35,735 breaks on the hourly retest. You can probably target 36,4 or even 36,000 clean like that. That's easy. And then if we get a break below 35,250, I would be a little conservative, even though your next support is at 34.7, 34.8. I would be conservative and honestly look to grab profits at 35,000. if that plays out. But let's see. Down to the 4 hour. Okay, so we're just confirming that this is really just a chop range. There's really nothing much to stop us from continuing higher. This is interesting, we made a higher low here at 35,539. Then we made one at 35,473. And we started to make a lower low at 35,374. However, bounced off of it. So what that tells me on the 4 hour is if we take out 35,374, probably we're going to touch up on 35,250. And if we break below 35,250, again, conservatively, I would target 35,000 as the take profit as a short. Um, but most likely it's going to come down to 34.7. Again, similar scenario. I kind of correlated with what ES and NQ is doing, how they're doing, and if Dow's been doing really good, ES and NQ have been doing good, Dow's probably going to follow along. So again, I don't think it's plausible that we come down or start selling off aggressively unless really 34.7 breaks, and then we can start looking at the previous lower highs of 33.80. 800, 33,800. Hell of a drop, but very doable. Okay, so then again, this just confirms to us anything above 35,735 on the hourly. You get a close above that, a retest, go long. You could go long and target 36,000. If you want to feel safer, I would wait for 35,843, which are the session highs. I would wait for that to break out on the hourly. Make sure you get a close above 35,843 on the hourly. Again, you could wait for that retest, or you could just go long on that break of 35,843, and you could target 36,000 to the upside too. Other than that, that is all she wrote. That's our futures overview for today, and I hope everyone has a successful and a great trading week. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.